Hello, lovely people. We are back with chapter 18 of John, and it's like 17, but a continuance, and it's not because it has a title Jesus Arrested, but it is a continuance. I guess we'll say it's continuance. So, chapter 18, John, here we go. When he finished praying, Jesus left into his disciples and crossed the Kidron Valley. On the other side, there was a garden. He and his disciples went into it. Now Judas, who betrayed him, knew the place because Judas had often met there with his disciples. So Judas came into the garden guiding a dispatchment of soldiers and some officials from the chief priests and the Pharisees. There, I'm sorry, were they were carrying torches and lanterns and weapons. Jesus, knowing all that was going to happen to him, went out and asked them, "Who is it you want?" "Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "I am he," Jesus said. And Judas, the betrayer, was standing there with him. When Jesus said, "I am he," they drew back and fell into the ground. Again, he asked them, "Who is it you want?" Jesus of Nazareth said, They said, Jesus answered, "I told you that I am he. If you are looking for me, then let these men go." This happened so that the words he had spoken would be fulfilled. "I have not lost one of these you gave me." Then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servants, cutting off his right ear. The servant's name was Malich, Malchus, Malchus. Jesus commanded Peter, "Put your sword away. Shall I not drink the cup of the Father has given me?" Then the dispatchment of soldiers with its commander and the Jewish officials arrested Jesus. They bounded him and brought him first to Ananias, who was the father-in-law of Cyprus and the high priest of that year. Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the one who had advised the Jewish leaders that that it would be good if one man died for the people. Simon Peter and the disciples were following Jesus because the disciples were known to the high priest. He went with Jesus into the high priest's courtyard, but Peter had waited outside the door. The other disciples, who was known to the high priest, came back, spoke to the servant girl on duty there, and brought Peter in. "You aren't one of those men. You aren't one of, I'm sorry, I apologize. You aren't one of this man's disciples too, are you?" she asked Peter. He replied, I am not. It is cold, and the servants and the officials stood around the fire they had made to keep them warm. Peter also was standing there with them, warming himself. Meanwhile, the high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teachings. I have spoken openly to this world, Jesus replied. I always taught in the synagogue or the temple where all the Jews came together. I said nothing in secret. Why question me? Ask those who heard me. Surely they know what I said. What Jesus said, when Jesus said this, one of the officials nearby slapped him in the face. Is this the way is this the way you answer the high priest? He demands. If I said anything wrong, Jesus replied, testify as to what it is I did wrong. But if I spoke the truth, why do you strike me? Then Ananias sent him bound to Caiaphas, the high priest. Meanwhile, Simon Peter, was still standing there warming himself. So they asked him, You aren't one of his disciples too, are you? He denied it, saying, No, I am not. One of the high priest's servants and relatives of the man whose ear Peter cut off challenged him. Didn't I see you with him in the garden? Again, Peter denied it, and at the moment the rooster crowed. At the moment the rooster began to crow. Then the Jewish leader took Jesus to Caiaphas, to the palace in Roman government. Sorry about that. Apologize. By now it was early in the morning, and to avoid ceremonies, uncleanliness, they did not enter into the palace because they wanted to be able to eat the Passover. So Pilate came out to them and asked, What charges are you bringing against this man? If he were not a criminal, they replied, they would not have handed him over to you. Pilate said, Take him yourself and judge him by your own law. But we have no right to execute him take him and judge him yourself. But we have no right to execute anyone, they objected. This took place to fulfill what Jesus had said about the kind of death he was going to die. Pilate then went back inside the palace, summoned Jesus, and asked him, Are you the King of Jews? Is that your own idea? Jesus asked. Or did they tell you about me? I am a Jew. Am I a Jew? Pilate replied. Your own people and chief priests handed you over to me. What is it you have done? Jesus said, My kingdom is not of this world. It is where my servants would fight to preserve the rest. My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest and the Jewish leaders. But now my kingdom is from another place. You are a king? Then, and Pilate said, Jesus answered, You say that I am a king. In fact, the reason I am born and came into this world is to testify the truth. Every one of on this side of the truth listens to me. What is the truth? Retorted Pilate. With this, he went out again to the Jewish gathering and gathered to them and said, I find no basis for a charge against him, but it is your custom to me to release one prisoner that at a time, the Passover. Do you want me to release your king of Jews? They shocked back. No, not him. Give us Barnabas. Now Barnabas had taken part in an uprising